right, we reconvene to open session at 7 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Wolf. Here. Student Trustee Guevara. Here. Student Trustee Sardo. Here. Student Trustee Alvarado. Here. Trustee Walker.
Here.
Trustee Gallegos.
Here.
Trustee Tejada. Here. Vice President Salahuddin. Here. President Lee.
Here. All right, item 8, approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening?
There are no changes.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 9, approval of the minutes. We have 9A board meeting minutes from October 3rd, 2023, and the board meeting minutes from October 7th, 2023. If no changes, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And there is nothing to report out of closed session. So we will jump down to item 11A, the board report. We will begin with our student trustees at the far end of the table. Trustee Wool, would you like to kick us off?
Yes. So at Oceana right now, we are planning for our Halloween Fest, which is next week on Friday. And we have a rally the following week. And 2 weeks ago, we had a performance from the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, which was really meaningful. And our BLSU just put on another Halloween event last Friday as well. So yeah, we've been kicking off the school year with a lot of events.
Right. Trustee Guevara.
Hi, everyone. So on behalf of Westmore, we just had our fall dance last Friday. And today is actually our senior night for our girls volleyball team. A lot of exciting things, a lot of sports related stuff, but we're kind of wrapping around LGBTQ plus history month and Filipino Heritage Month and all that. And as we're gearing towards October and nearing the end of October, we're looking forward to doing a trick or treat event hosted by our ASD.
Great. Trustee Sardo.
At Terranova, we are wrapping up our breast cancer awareness fundraisers for the past few weeks with our athletic. Not next week, the following week, we will be having a rally in honor of our school game against Terranova, or against Half Moon Bay. And we have our food fair fundraiser next Friday for all of our clubs.
Fantastic. Trustee Alvarado.
So this Friday we have our food fair. So we're also doing the blood drive, which is pretty exciting. And we're bringing the Powerpuff back. Speaking mic closer to you a little bit.
We're bringing the Powerpuff Girls back, which is a girls football team. So it's pretty exciting.
Trustee Walker.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Trustee Gallegos.
I have nothing to report either.
I'm just going to say a few things. I served on a panel last week. I held sponsored by the Pacifica Peace People, and it was a community dialogue about the impact of racism. So I served on the panel with trustees from the Pacifica School District, Laverne Villalobos and Kai Doggett. It was very well attended. The moderator was Nicole Anderson, who we have partnered with for years now. And it was very impactful, and there were even small group breakouts. Mr. Lee attended with his wife, and Ms. Torres, Principal Torres from Oceana attended, and our Pacifica Chief of Police attended also. It was really good discourse and very meaningful. And it's just the beginning of probably a series that they're trying to do. And of course, attended our student advisory council meeting last night. Just love being with our students because they do a lot of hard work, and they're sharing among each other what everyone's doing at each school and how they can better serve the district.
Yeah, so a few of us were at Jefferson for our first on-site school board meeting that we've had in a little while. So I think all of the employees that attended, and I look forward to the future meetings that we have on site. And I also think our student trustees are also there. Thank you for that. And then I will also say that, again, it's been a couple challenging weeks. It continues. And that it's hard to know what to say because it's so charged. But what I will say is that a lot of horrific things have happened, and it's affected a lot of people in our community. And I know it's really hard when something rips at your soul and the world continues moving without acknowledging the hurt. And so I just want to say to everyone who's in pain that I'm sorry that you're in pain, and that, you know, I see you, and I hope that you can do what you can do to find peace. And I hope that the world can find peace for our children, which is the reason why we're all here. And then I will also say that there has been a lot of outside pressure coming towards the district on how we behave towards our students. And to that, I want to say that the students have always been our priority. The students will continue to be our priority, and that the health and welfare of all of our students, regardless of their background, their cultural identity, or how they represent themselves, will continue to be our priority. And I just want to affirm that again as a trustee of the school district.
Well said, and I echo those sentiments as well. I would just hope that we would continue to be a safe place for all of our students, and I'm always encouraged, just like when we were at Jefferson on Thursday evening, to be able to see the staff come out and the way they talked about their students and what they're doing in the classroom. It just gives me such hope and joy when I hear our staff talk about our students, and I see some of our educators here, and I know they're going to be able, you know, and the work that they do to take care of all of our kids. And so I'm heartened by the fact that this continues to be a safe place for our kids, that we continue to strive to make it as safe as possible. And that everything that we've done, certainly in my 8 years on the board, everything that I've tried to do has always been with the student first focus, because that's who we serve and that's who we take care of. I said to the folks at Jefferson on Thursday, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're teaching a student, counseling a student, feeding a student, driving a student, fixing up the landscaping, cleaning the bathrooms. Everything you're doing is in service of each of our students. And I am so grateful to every one of you for doing your jobs and doing that duty, that call upon your heart to serve our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm not gonna try and top the way you just said it, because that's exactly I think the right tone. In my message last Friday, I really just wanted to kind of give that message to our community, that we know that there's a lot of horrific things happening right now, that there's a lot of people in pain, and that we are really, you know, it is our mission to ensure that our campuses are safe places for all of our students, and welcoming, and we will continue to do that. So I said I wasn't going to try and rephrase it, and then I did. And I just also wanted to mention on a different note that there were a lot of activities that went on this past week. Thank you to the staff at Jefferson for coming to the meeting after school, and it was a good meeting. We always like to be on campuses talking with people, and that for the student trustees who attended, thank you. And there was an event that we went to last week for the Boys and Girls Club. Trustee Lee and Principal John Harrigan and I went, and we really are just so appreciative of them being in two of our schools with the Future Grads program. We know that that means a lot to many of our students, helping them to get to college. And then through college, they have people that work with the students once they're even in college. So it's a great program, and it was a nice event. And just thank you to everyone, because it's been a pretty difficult time. And I'm just always really proud of all of us and thankful. Thank you.
Can I add one more thing? I forgot. We also went to the college in peer care.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And so I just want to thank Andrew
Mhm.
and all of the volunteers that were there. See a couple in the room. That it was a great representation of who we are as a
Mhm.
district. That so many people showed up outside of their regular job duties to support students and what their next steps are in their life. So it was great to see the turnout. I mean, I actually think if we weren't there, no one would have been at the mall. we were a lot of the customers at the mall. I shopped, so and then it was just so well organized, you know, having them seen this gradually progress into what it is now. So huge thanks to the organizers. I know there was a lot of people, but shout out to Andrew.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah.
Just take it back to the board briefly, if there's any subcommittees that wanted to report out this evening. Not, that's okay too.
I guess I'll report out from our subcommittee that is looking at the remodel of the Jefferson gym and pool. We've been meeting, we've had many meetings, and I think that they'll be ready to present a proposal to the board in the next few meetings coming soon.
Great. Thank you. All right, over to Ms. Casey, President Casey, for the AFT 1481 report.
Thank you so much. So last weekend, I attended CFT's ECTK 12, so early childhood, transitional kindergarten through 12th grade division council meeting. Unfortunately, at the same time, there's also the classified division council meeting, so I had to sneak into that one as well. Some of the priorities that we will be having this year for legislative pushes are to deregulate certificated retirees. How they do it now is they have to wait a certain amount of time. They've gone back and forth. We want to get rid of that. CTE teacher permanency. Some of these issues are not our issues because we already have dealt with some of them, but some of them are not. ELD credentialing, there's some issues there. And paid COVID exclusion leave or deregulation. And then we've heard about AB 938 in the past. It was a bill that we were trying to get 50% increase in funding to schools, specifically to pay people more. Not just teachers, but all of the staff. And we turned it into a 2-year bill so that the governor wouldn't veto it. So give them a little bit more time, find some monies. So it's still on the table, thank goodness. And it's a 2-year bill now. So I just wanted to update everyone on that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to consent. Is there a motion to approve consent?
Make a motion to approve the items on consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 14, do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not.
Great. Okay. So moving on, item 15A1, Thornton High School's plan for student achievement presentation. Deputy Superintendent Doctor's not here, so we'll just turn it right over to Benny. Mr. Marco, Dr. Marco, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our single plan for student achievement. It'll be one of many acronyms we're going to be using, so it'll be the last time I say it in full length, and you'll hear it as SIPSA now. Thank you again, Ms. Johnson, Superintendent Presta, members of the board, student trustees, executive cabinet, President Casey. Thank you again. I'd like to give a special shout out to the Thornton staff that always comes to represent. Starting with Harley Norris, May Madrid, Carla Talkoff, Cara Macano and Alan Booth. So I really appreciate their support. This presentation today, again, is our SIPSA. And essentially what our SIPSA is what our goals and what we intend to do for the 2023-2024 school year. All right. If we could sum up our vision, it would essentially be these three words that you'll see on our website as well. It's related to equity, growth, and community engagement. Some of our highlights for our current school year includes a school-wide response to, again, look at that acronym, social and emotional learning, or SEL, as well as grading practices. And we're continuing to make positive strides in both those areas. We are currently the home for Jefferson Union High School District's Remote Independent Study Program. And currently we have approximately 29 students that are currently enrolled in Remote Independent Study, representing each of the 4 comprehensive schools. We are very excited and thankful that our WASC Visiting Committee awarded us with the 6-year accreditation. So it helped us vertically align with a lot of our goals and priorities. We've rebranded our back to school nights, and now they are known as family community celebrations. And in addressing the needs of all students, we continue to improve our what's known as multi-tiered systems of supports, or MTSS. The needs and challenges are similar across other years and different for attendance. There's challenges we've had pre-COVID, there's challenges we've had during COVID, and there's challenges we have in the aftermath of COVID. Part of it is making sure that we have daily attendance and continue to have students at school 90% of the time or better. And when we have attendance challenges, there are interventions that we use to help address those needs, specifically the root causes. Co-curricular experiences, because of our school day and because of the capacity and resources, we are continuing to expand those co-curricular activities. And one of those most common co-curricular activities is encouraging students to begin and explore the world of work. Early identification of students to Thornton allows a few things. One, for students to graduate on time, if not early, as well as students, if they desire to return to their home school, they can. There's a family engagement component that's also an area of need and challenge, though examples such as the Family Community Celebration, or FCC, and our newsletter are allowing us the opportunity to hear more from families. Mentoring happens with all our staff at the school site, and looking at an organization such as Future Grads to help expand that support for students. And as I mentioned earlier, social and emotional learning. There's activities that happen every Wednesday with our whole school circles. There's activities that happen every intersession, quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a variety of different activities that happen in the classrooms and embedded in the instruction to promote SEL. The plan for improvements includes the expansion of intervention, and looking at this now, I'd rather just strike the word intervention and the expansion of services in general. We want to continue to provide access to employment, as well as health and wellness and career opportunities. There are many needs that our students and families have, and knowing more about what their needs are allows us to expand services. We are currently under what's known as additional targeted support and improvement through the state, and we are continuously looking to exceed graduation rates in excess of 80%, as well as attendance rates to exceed 90%. And the family engagement is a key component of that, making sure that we have consistent representation, voice, and multiple pathways for families to communicate with our school site. Our goals and strategies are 3. There's an academic component, there's a family engagement component, and there's a services component. And one example of one of those academic components is deepening and sustaining grading for equity and universal design for learning, which is aligned with much of the work that's happening in curriculum and instruction. The second goal, as I mentioned, is a family engagement component. The one I'd like to highlight in particular is increasing community partnerships. One example of a community partnership that we had just recently participated in was through Superintendent Presta's collaboration and communication with the general manager of Lexus of Serramonte. We took 10 students on a trip to Lexus Serramonte, where they participated in a tour, talked about career opportunities, and 2 may even be in the process of applying and potentially interviewing for positions down the road. The last one is support services. And the area that I'd like to focus on again is continuing the social and emotional learning at the variety of levels. We can do a one-off, we can do it individually, we can do it through classrooms, we can do it through school-wide activities. And what our goal is for social and emotional learning to be pervasive and to extend beyond just one particular area of the school. Well, what's this going to cost? Some of those areas that we are looking to continue to support is our learning management platform, or the equivalent of Apex, is Ingenuity on our school campus. And that's usually at a cost of about $36,000 per year. The student first and student focused ideals that we continue to reach to every day includes investment in our staff. That's why you see an investment of approximately $10,000 per year, which is also based on district allocation to continue to reinvest in our staff members' professional development. There's also costs associated to field trips, or what we also know as community-based instruction, instructional materials to allow students to interact as well as benefit from the latest and greatest. We split the cost of a school social worker between the district office as well as our school site funds. And recently, Thornton High School will be able to utilize approximately $1,100 on the expansion of arts and music for our school community. And that concludes our presentation of our SIPSA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Opening it up to the board for any questions or comments, including student trustees, if you have any questions.
I have a question. So first of all, thank you. It sounds like you're still doing great things at Thornton. You continue to do great things. My question's about the graduation rate. So I'm not really concerned with the number itself, but I think that Thornton's the kind of school where it's not the type of school where you enter in 9th grade and exit in 12th grade. So I'm just curious, how do you figure out your graduation?
It's done individually. We may have students that share the same core class. So there's the illusion that everyone's traveling at the same pace and at the same finish line at the same time. But the reality is, during the intake and then meetings with Carla as well as their homeroom teachers, it's individualized. And that's where we're able to then provide a plan for students to get from where they are to where we hope them to be. And that helps with keeping students not just on track, but continuing to have students that when they walk in the door, they leave us with a diploma. And then if there are obstacles that are in the way, then we try to problem solve those with, we problem solve those with the families. And in some of those cases, we are also looking at additional pathways to obtaining either a diploma or some certification based on family circumstances, their age. Again, these are just examples on the individual approach we take to getting students to that finish line. There are also times when we have students that, as I mentioned earlier, would like to return to their home school, and for some selfish reasons, we would like them to graduate with us as a diploma, with the Thornton diploma. But the reality is that we're all sibling schools, and if you have this desire to return to your home school, and that's what's motivating you to graduate, then we certainly want to support that as well. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question. So, thank you. So does that mean the rate is basically calculated as whenever they enter Thornton, if they graduate, like it's just anybody who enters, you're calculating on if they entered and they graduate. I'm not making myself clear, but is that how you figure it out? Like, and some may not graduate, but if they enter and they graduate, that's in that total.
I've made many attempts to use the same formula that the state uses for graduation rates.
Uh-huh.
And in its simplest form, you're absolutely
Okay.
right.
So if they enter Thornton and they graduate,
Right. There's a
Yeah.
range beginning at some point at the end of the school year. Let's say the business cycle, July 1st to let's say the end of the school year, where a student that enters and is on our roster is part of what's known, part of the denominator.
Okay, good.
Calculating graduation rates. And then
Good.
there's something else that may be included in that.
And then if they go back to their home school and graduate, are they included in that home school's graduation rate and not Thornton's?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank you and your amazing staff at Thornton. You are miracle workers. That's how I see you. And congratulations on your 6-year accreditation. So I know that, well, you said you have some of your planned improvements are access to employment. So do we have a dual, I'm sorry if I don't know this already, but do we have a dual enrollment program at Thornton? And what is it?
Yes. It evolved from a college 101 class pre-COVID. And even before my time as a principal, there had already been these partnerships with Skyline. And over the last couple of years, with more of investment in career technical ed, then Thornton benefited from that as well. And an example of the program that we have is our buildings and construction program. And that's and students typically who are with Mr. Ed Lopez and the Wilderness Program are students that not only are they participating in activities related to CEEP or Community Environmental Education Program, there was another acronym, is the targeted group that are also that also benefit from that CTE component.
And do we have any data that you can share with us on how many students are enrolled in that and get college credit for it?
That's something I can do some additional research on, just so I can get you an accurate number.
I'm just curious.
But what I can share is that when we have students that are not only in a combination of wilderness program, the CTE, as well as accessing Thornton core curriculum, we generally are seeing a greater likelihood that students are finishing with us and getting the diploma. But as far as that exact number, I can do some research on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's awesome to see kind of how far Thornton has come. I was there in '95, so a long time ago. And back then, it kind of felt like one of those places where they just kind of sent the kids that weren't really obviously doing well in regular school, but it didn't really feel like the kind of attention that I feel like you're putting into this, program there now. So it's really cool to see all the, all the things that are going on there, the community engagement, the mentorship type things, just the different ways of trying to keep these students engaged, is super important, obviously, but it was just, I felt something that obviously when I was younger, I could have used too. So I know that, seeing all the effort that's being put into it, and hopefully if you need any help with, more community engagement, or, when I was there and I did a talk, Carly invited me for career day last year, and, my wife and I did some presentation on our careers and got a lot of interest from a lot of the guys there that were, looking to get into some maybe trades and union and stuff like that. So I do have connections there that, I'd be willing to work with you on, or talk to you more about, try to help some of these guys get into some really good trades, schools and stuff like that. So thank you for, all the hard work and kind of, making sure that nobody left behind, really, you know what I mean? Because it could feel like that sometimes when, you're in schools that are like this, but I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I stand on these folks' shoulders.
Okay.
I mean, they're the ones day in and day out in the classrooms, and then, I wouldn't say the job is easier, but I would say that when we when we wake up every day and we have a very good sense on what our why is, and there's lots that we do to pull together, and I can't tell you the stories, of course, the anecdotals of students who, when we're able to disrupt that historical narrative of what Thornton is, then we have an opportunity then to leverage that with increasing partnerships, and that's where I think we're hitting this at a really opportune time.
That's great. Yeah. And offer stands, let me know. I mean, you can reach out, let me know if you need anything. Yeah.
Thank you.
So again, thank you for presenting. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all the staff for all of the things that you do for our students. I'm very grateful. I will, the one comment, it's not really a question, it's a comment. On the budget expenditures and the staff development based on the district allocation, just wondering if we want to think about that a little bit more, because the level of supports that the students need requires a higher level of attention from the teachers and staff. So it's a classroom full of students that most of our other teachers in other schools would send out of the classroom. So that's different level, that's different kind of support for the staff that work there. So I'm wondering, like, are we budgeting to allocation or are we budgeting to need? So that is actually a question, sorry, but just something to think about.
Well, I would hope that we budget to need, and certainly have some allocations.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you, Tina.
I can answer some of that. If you want more detail, we can go into more detail, but the staffing allocation at Thornton is higher per pupil than the staffing allocation at the other schools. And as for site funds, we give them 3 allocations for each one student. So compared to the allocations per student at the other schools.
So is that enough for the need?
And I would say that none of our schools have enough for their need.
Right.
But if that's something that, I mean, I think that we have a regular conversation with Dr. Marenko, and we end up maybe supplementing in different ways. For instance, he explained to staff member that they pay for partially with site funds and partially with district that the district contributes to. So was that an extra staffing allocation or was that an extra site allocation? But it was extra from what was originally planned because there was a need. And so I think as long as we keep those lines of communication open, we've generally been able to find solutions.
So, and then just thinking about what we talked about as our goal is like a district and board, and this is one of the areas I definitely would. I know that one of the goals is to increase, one of the goals in this presentation was to increase graduation rates, which would affect one of our goals. So I'm just wondering, do we need to look at this like something for future to look at closer to ensure that there is the proper supports there that would directly affect some of the needles on some of the goals that we have said are a priority in the district. So not anything to answer today, but just maybe to re-examine.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much for. Do you have one? Yes.
I just wanted to say that I really like the system of how you do it individually for each student. So it's not like a higher level student have to go down to a lower level just because you came to that school. So I like how it's individual and it can be at its own pace to complete the finish line like that. So I really like it.
Thank you. To add to what you just said, part of what also makes it work is if we can't have a relationship with the students and establish rapport, none of it's going to work. And these are experts in developing rapport and relationships. I mean, the work and the kind of the kind of mindset that our students have when they interact with our staff. It's because they're able to know their students and then figure out a way to work with their strengths.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much for the presentation. You've done good work.
Thank you.
Let's keep up the good work too. And I know you guys will, because you guys are, I love the team over there, and I know you're going to continue to do great work this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
More.
All right. Consideration of future agenda items. Anyone? All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:36 p.m.
Called it.